This is Keith Sports News KSN. Hey everybody. Welcome to KSN episode 103, I believe. Is it 103? Yes it is. Okay. Previewing the weekend mainly for American football because it's January. January's halfway over already. Can you believe that? I know. So this episode will be me previewing the NFL Divisional Round playoffs as well as the CFP National Championship. All right. And we got some other news to talk about. And we're going to talk about one of those news right now, and that is the big news the big news only a couple of hours after I released the latest episode of KSN, and that is, you can see the text at the bottom if you're watching, Mike Tomlin out as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Yeah, we were wondering if he was going to stay with the Steelers for another season, and we found out that the answer is no. I'm a little surprised that this news came just the afternoon, it was just not even 24 hours after the Steelers lost another playoff game. Didn't thought we would hear this news this soon. I thought we would hear it maybe next week. But it turns out he didn't get fired. He announced his he announced his resignation. He resigned as the Steelers head coach after 19 seasons with the team? I mean, that's impressive. You stay with a team for that long, that means you're a great coach. You know? It's kind of crazy. Do I think he would stay? I was kind of like 50-50. I wasn't quite sure if he would stay with the team or not. But now we know he is no longer the Steelers head coach. I don't think they announced a new head coach yet. Who are they going to get? Honestly, who are they going to get? You know, the Steelers, they've only had 3 coaches since the late 60s. Holy crap. Just 3 head coaches over the past, 55 years? Oh my gosh. That just shows you that the Steelers are one hell of a franchise. Even though lately they have been struggling in the playoffs. But still, they had a lot of success. Those past 3 coaches, they've all won Super Bowls. They've all, even though the Steelers haven't won a Super Bowl in 17 years, they were in one 14 years ago. And coincidentally, it was Mike Tomlin's team against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. So, I don't know what Mike Tomlin will do this season. I'm pretty sure he's not going to coach a different team this season. He's probably going to sit out for 1 year. And he's only, what is he, 53? He joined the Steelers. He was really young. He was, in his mid-30s, 35? Yeah, that's unusual. Someone, joining a team as their head coach at that age, Isn't 35 like the youngest or the minimum age to run for president? I think so, but that'd be funny if he runs for president. You never know. Um, yeah, my thoughts. It's kind of a shame that it had to end like this. The Steelers. They were down by what? Only a couple of points in the fourth quarter until the Texans defense just ran all over the Steelers. Um, yeah. So Mike Tomlin is officially out as the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's crazy, man. Not too long ago, John Harbaugh got fired with the Baltimore Ravens. Now Mike Tomlin resigned as the Steelers head coach. This is the end of an era for the Steelers-Ravens rivalry. It really is. Two longtime coaches. John Harbaugh joined the Ravens in 2008. Mike Tomlin joined the Steelers in 2007. Think about that. That's a long time ago. You stay on a team for that long. I still can't believe John Harbaugh got fired. Yeah, he missed the playoffs, but they were so close to making it. Yeah, they were 1-5, and then they won 4 in a row. So they were 5-5. Okay, they're back in this, but I don't know. I don't know what to think. So I did this for John Harbaugh. I looked at his head coaching record for the Ravens. Let's look at Mike Tomlin's head coaching record with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So 2007, his first season as the head coach, 10-6. I mean, that's really good. The previous coach was Bill Cowher. I think that's his name. Who's been with the CBS studio show ever since he left the Steelers. All right. And he wasn't even 50 years old when he resigned, when Bill resigned as the Steelers head coach. I wonder if people say Mike Tomlin, he might become a TV guy. I'm sure he would be pretty entertaining at that because of the way he talks, especially his press conferences. Sometimes his press conferences, they kind of make me laugh, the way he talks. All right, so 2007, 10-6. 2008, 12-4. And he won the Super Bowl. Just his second season with the Steelers, wins the Super Bowl. At the time, he became the youngest head coach to win the Super Bowl until Sean McVay with the LA Rams when they won it 4 years ago. All right, 2009, 9-7, they missed the playoffs. 2010, 12-4, they went to the Super Bowl, but that's when they lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I remember because I've been living in this house for the past 20 years. I remember that Super Bowl was on the TV, but back then I wasn't into sports. I wasn't into watching sports, but I do remember that game was on the TV at the time. And I actually rewatched that Super Bowl on YouTube. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, every year I watch an old Super Bowl, so I'll try to do that before the Winter Olympics begin. I might do it at the end of January. I haven't decided what Super Bowl I'll pick. If any of y'all have any suggestions, any Super Bowl suggestions that I should watch, let me know. And then I'll let you know if I already seen that Super Bowl or not. So it's kind of become a tradition. Just like every year I watch an old Grey Cup, except last year I watched 2 Grey Cups, but it wasn't it wasn't the full game. It was the 45-minute version. So yeah. I don't know if I'll watch, I don't know if I'll do the same with the Super Bowl, if I'll watch one game in its entire broadcast, or I should watch 2 in a shorter version like I did with the Grey Cups. I don't know. I'll let you guys know. And I guess I'll record me watching it. All right. 2011, 12-4. 2012 and 2013, they were both 8-8. 2014, 11-5. Okay, they made the playoffs that year. 2015, 10-6. They also made the playoffs. 2016, 11-5. They went to the AFC Championship game. 2017, 13-3, which is actually Tomlin's best record as the Steelers head coach. They somehow lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC Divisional game. 2018, 9-6-1. They missed the playoffs. 2019, 8-8. They also missed the playoffs that year. The COVID year, 2020, 12-4. Made the playoffs, and they lost to the Cleveland Browns. 2021, 9-7-1. They made the playoffs that year. 2022, 9-8. Missed the playoffs. 2023, 10-7. They made the playoffs, but they lost another wild card game. Same with 2024 and 2025. They were both 10-7, and then they lost in the AFC wild card. So Mike Tomlin never had a losing record. I mean, that just shows you he's a great coach. However, most of those seasons, he had Big Ben Roethlisberger. Remember Big Ben? He was a great quarterback. He was just as good as Peyton Manning, you know. But after Big Ben retired, which I believe was 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I think it was 4 years ago, they couldn't really find a replacement. They tried Mason Rudolph, who I believe he is still on the team as the backup. Wasn't it last year they had Russell Wilson? What the heck happened to Russell Wilson? Ever since he left the Seahawks, he became a joke. Ugh. But then they got Aaron Rodgers. I was kind of, to be honest, I know I never really liked the Steelers, but I was sort of hoping that we could have Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers one more season, because this was only their first season together. I wonder if Tomlin and Rodgers had a pretty good working relationship. I mean, he made the playoffs almost every year. I mean, yeah, he's lost the last 4 playoff appearances, or actually the last 5 playoff appearances. They lost in the AFC wildcard game. And then when they were 13-3, they had a bye, and they lost their game. So 2016. So the 2016 season, so technically January of 2017. So 9 years ago, last time the Steelers had a playoff win. Yeah. So I don't know, who are they going to get? Now the big question is, after Mike Tomlin resigned, will Aaron Rodgers stay with the Steelers, or will he retire? See, that's why I was cheering for the Steelers in their playoff game, because of the old quarterback was playing, you know. So, guess we'll find out. But man, after all these seasons, you know, that's just like a couple years ago when Bill Belichick left the New England Patriots after, 23 seasons? Or 24 seasons? Yeah. It's impressive when a coach can stay on a team for that long, meaning he's a great coach. Well, we know Bill Belichick is staying with North Carolina, so yeah, man, this has been a wild season for football coaches, American football coaches. A couple months ago, a bunch of college coaches got fired, or not too long ago, a lot of college coaches that got fired, and then the Monday after Week 18, they call it Black Monday, I believe, and that's when the head coaching carousel. A lot of coaches leaving, it's kind of crazy. Oh, man. I mean, 5-Tear, I know you're listening. Think about this. Mike Tomlin's, he joined the Steelers the year you were born. Isn't that crazy? I bet there are Steelers fans that grew up watching Mike Tomlin, and when he was with Big Ben Roethlisberger, that was their big era, Yeah. I haven't really See, I listen to a lot of sports podcasts, but there's just so many that I follow. It's hard to keep up with all of them. A lot of them are going to be talking about this Mike Tomlin news, so I'll hear more about those. Hear what they have to say about this big news. All right. Now let's get to the NFL Divisional Round predictions. All right. Here we go. And how about I play more NFL music? This is from, instead of NFL Primetime, because we already listened to that in the last episode, how about we play some NFL Madden 13? Because I grew up playing NFL Madden 13 on the Wii U. I never had a PlayStation, never had an Xbox. So somehow Madden NFL 13 was on the Wii U. I believe that is the last Madden game that that was released on a Nintendo console until last year. I think the latest Madden NFL game is on the Nintendo Switch too. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, NFL Madden 13. It's kind of crazy. This is like over 12 years ago. Yeah, 2013 was also the first year I got into sports. Watched my first Super Bowl live was in 2013, and a bunch of other big sporting news. Okay, I think I got them ready. So yeah, let's get into the predictions. Here we go. These soundtracks are pretty loud, so I turned them down just so you can hear me. Alright, so what do we got first? So they announced the games as well as the times, alright? So the Saturday afternoon game is AFC game. Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos. This is on CBS. I honestly thought the game would be on ESPN and ABC, but no, because I went by the schedule from the past couple of years. They'll have a Saturday afternoon on ABC and ESPN, and that Saturday night would be the Fox game. Then the Sunday would be Sunday afternoon would be on NBC, Peacock, and then the late Sunday game would be on CBS. but they changed it up for this playoff. Okay, this is at Denver. We're going to see how they play after they got a bye. I heard that Buffalo is a slight favorite to win this game. This is a rematch from last year's wild card game. I think this will be a close game. I want Buffalo to win because I think, in my opinion, this has to be Josh Allen's time. For once, they're not facing Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They're also not facing Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, as well as Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, you're the big star. This has to be your time to shine. We're going to see how his hand feels. Remember, he hit his hand on his teammate's helmet as he was throwing the ball? Or after he threw the ball? It didn't look great. Let's see what the weather's like. They will usually tell me what the weather... It's going to be cold, I know that. Okay, it's just going to be a chilly day. I did not pick Buffalo against Jacksonville in their wild card game. It's hard to say, but home field really matters. You just never know how Buffalo is going to play. When Josh Allen is playing well, then he's hard to beat. Bo Nix, Sean Payton. This team was on a fantastic winning streak. I feel like Denver is going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game by a close one. They might win this by a field goal. And if they do win this game, that means they'll be hosting the AFC Championship game. So I'm going to lean towards the Denver Broncos in this game. And then later, the Saturday night game on Fox. Rematch in the NFC West. Big rivalry. San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks also had a bye. And it's funny because their last game was also against the 49ers. That game was in San Francisco. They won that game 13-3, and here they are again. I was surprised that the 49ers did beat the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now they got to fly across the country again to face their rivals. I'm sorry, Five-Tayer. I cannot see the 49ers win this game, honestly. I'll be really surprised if they can beat this Seahawks team with Sam Darnold. The Seahawks, I think they're going to win this game pretty easily. Yeah. We'll see how much they'll win by. All right. And if the Seahawks do win, they'll be hosting the NFC Championship game. Sunday, this is the ABC game, which that's kind of surprising, but I guess it kind of makes sense at the same time because the Houston Texans are in another game. What is with the Houston Texans in another playoff game on ABC and ESPN? Like, go back. Look back at their playoff games over the past, 10 years. A lot of their games were on ABC and ESPN. Why is it always the Houston Texans? It's like they're doing this on purpose. Well, they're going to be taking on the New England Patriots in Foxborough. We're going to see how the Texans' defense perform again. Can they do it again? I think they can. But will they? I don't think so. I think it's going to be New England that's going to win this game. But I think it'll be a pretty close one. And then the last game, this is the game that I'm actually looking forward to the most. LA Rams at the Chicago Bears. This is weird. The game's at 5:30 Central and it's on NBC and Peacock. Because normally at 5:30 doesn't NBC show Doesn't NBC have nightly news on at 5:30 every day? So I wonder why their game is at 5:30. I find that kind of weird. This game, the reason why I'm looking forward to this game the most is because of the weather. It's going to be freezing cold in Chicago, Soldier Field. The Bears pulled off an amazing comeback against their big rivals, the Green Bay Packers. The LA Rams, surprisingly, barely beat the Carolina Panthers after they were a 10.5-point favorite. So, Matthew Stafford, he's also on a podcast called Let's Go on SiriusXM with Jim Gray, and Matthew said he's ready for the cold. This might be his coldest game, though. This might be the coldest playoff game for the LA Rams. Although, remember last year, the LA Rams were in that snowy game against the Eagles? Pretty close game. This game is going to be a lot colder, though. That's the thing. I don't know. I feel like I have to pick the home team again, the Chicago Bears, but I originally have the LA Rams winning the Super Bowl when I fill out my playoff bracket. All right. Well, I made two brackets. One of them I had the LA Rams winning. If not, the Seattle Seahawks. Those are my two Super Bowl picks. But I think I'm going to lean towards the I don't know. It's okay. All right, you know what? Fine. Picking the LA Rams. I'm going to pick, this is my big pick. I'm going to pick the LA Rams to win this game. Maybe the Bears are probably celebrating too much after they beat their big rivals, Green Bay Packers, after that big comeback. Maybe the LA Rams will step up their game. Maybe they were taking it too easily against the Carolina Panthers, the 8-9 Panthers. Somehow, I don't know why, but I somehow see the Rams pulling off this win. And aren't they the favorite? Aren't the Rams the favorite? So there's my big pick. LA Rams winning on the road, which means I have Seahawks Rams NFC Championship West showdown. That's a big one if that really happens. But again, back to the schedule, it's so weird that the Houston Texans have another playoff game on ABC and ESPN. And the Rams-Bears game is on NBC at 5:30 on Sunday. I don't know how or why, how they determined the times. I mean, we have another Saturday night game on Fox. This is like 3 years in a row. But they kind of changed it up. I guess it kind of makes sense why the Bills-Broncos game's on CBS. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, the game I'm looking forward to the most is Rams-Bears. I do like Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. They'll be hosting the Super Bowl. After what the Texans did to the Steelers, I can kind of see them put up a fight against New England. Kind of wish the Manning cast is on that game. That'd be kind of cool, a Sunday afternoon Manning cast. But no, their last one was the wild card game. But big question, we'll see how the Broncos and Seahawks play after they get a bye. A lot of times the team with the byes win. We'll see. But again, if Josh Allen plays very well, I think he can win this game. But something tells me that, I don't know, home field really matters. But these are all big matches. It's funny because I was actually cheering for the New England Patriots because I never really liked that team, mainly because of the the Brady Belichick era, you know. But 5-Tayer, you did pick the Houston Texans to win the Super Bowl. That's a big one. I will cheer for them if they're in the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, I do want an AFC team to win the Super Bowl. Because for once, it's not going to be Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to have a different AFC team in the Super Bowl. Yeah, no Chiefs, no Eagles. I think a lot of people are going to watch Super Bowl 60 this year. That's a positive thing to say. I hope so. I think a lot of people, they did watch Super Bowl 56 2 years ago on NBC, mainly because Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, they were in that game against Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams, and the game was in LA. So, yeah. All right. There are my NFL Divisional Round predictions, and now let's go to the CFP National Championship prediction. Between Miami, number 10 seed Miami, and the number 1 team in the country, Indiana. I bet a lot of people did not have this in their bracket as the final 2 teams, especially the Miami Hurricanes. First of all, do you guys find it weird that the college football playoff national championship game has always been on a Monday night, as well as the March Madness finals? See, my number 1 favorite podcast is Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Russo, and you know, he likes to complain about the schedule, and a lot of times when he does complain about the schedule, I pretty much agree with him. A quick thought. He said it's not fair for the 49ers to play on Saturday night. He said the 49ers should play on Sunday because their last game was on a Sunday. It kind of makes sense. And it's like the opposite. LA Rams and the Chicago Bears, they played on Saturday. Why is their game on Sunday? They get an extra day? I don't understand that. I think, yeah, I heard some people were talking about that. Yeah, anyways, well, so yeah, I think it's better if the CFP National Championship game is on a Friday night before these NFL Divisional Round playoff games. That's just me. I think that would be better, you know, because a lot of people stay up late on Friday nights anyways. They can easily do that. Like, what's happening tonight? It's just another night for the NBA and NHL, right? Yeah, I don't know what they're showing on ESPN tonight. College basketball. I mean, seriously, they can really have the national championship game on tonight. They really can. But I guess they want to give the teams extra couple of days off because it's the national championship. I get it. I understand. So it doesn't really bother me that it's still on a Monday night. I remember it used to be like at what? Kickoff would be at what, like 7:15 p.m., but now it's at what, 6:45 p.m., so it's like 30 minutes earlier. It's the same with March Madness, so they finally listened to their fans on how late the games would start or end, you know. So yeah, Miami against Indiana. I'm looking forward to this game, actually. I really am. 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row, no SEC team in the championship game, and I'm sure a lot of non-SEC fans are happy about that. I know you are, 5-Tayer. 3 years in a row, a Big Ten team's in the championship. The last 2 seasons, a Big Ten championship won. Michigan and Ohio State. If Indiana wins, 3 Big Ten teams in a row winning the national championship. Man, Miami played a hard-fought game against Ole Miss. Ole Miss could have won that game, which I'm glad they didn't, because I don't want to see Ole Miss in this game without Lane Kiffin. That'd be so weird to me. So I am glad that Miami's in it. Hey, national championship game is in Miami, by the way. This is the first time ever the university gets to play their national championship on their actual stadium, but they share the same stadium with the Miami Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium. But still, Indiana came off another domination win against Oregon. They are definitely the best team in the country. They will definitely be a big favorite to win this game. The matchup predictor, 68.3% for Indiana. Oh, I forgot to look at the matchup predictors for the NFL divisional games. I'll do that real quick after I make my predictions for the CFP National Championship game. So we got Carson Beck against Fernando Mendoza for the quarterbacks. 2 head coaches, Mario Cristobal and Kurt Cignetti. So yeah, I wonder how many. We're going to see how many Miami fans and how many Indiana fans will be there. It's going to be a very interesting game. Will Indiana dominate again? Can they? Yeah, they can. But I'll say this, I want Indiana to win this game because they've never won a national championship. They've never been to a national championship. Miami, they've won some national championships in the past, but it's been a while. See, if I would cheer for Miami if they're not playing against Indiana. Yeah, I would cheer for Miami. Like, if we were getting Miami against Oregon, I would cheer for Miami. Only because their game is in Miami. But I really want Indiana to win this game. Fernando Mendoza is one hell of a quarterback. I have to listen to his Heisman victory speech. Yeah. He is entertaining. The way he talks is also entertaining. He is ready. He is ready for the NFL. Some people compare him to Joe Burrow from the 2019 LSU Tigers. And I do remember that team quite well. And, most likely Mendoza will be the number 1 pick in this year's NFL draft, which means he will go to the Vegas Raiders, not the New York Jets. You screwed up again, Jets. What the heck? Oh my gosh. Now watch the Raiders have a much better season than the Jets in 2026. So I think Indiana will win this game. But will it be a closer game? I think it will be a closer game. But after what Indiana did to Oregon, after Oregon shut out Texas Tech, yeah, I gotta pick Indiana. And I really hope they do win this. I mean, this is amazing. 15-0, number 1 in the country. It's like they're doing this for Lee Corso. Yeah, Lee Corso. For those of you that don't know, Lee Corso actually used to coach the Indiana Hoosiers in the mid-'70s to the early '80s, I think. Yeah. Lee Corso, who just, when he made his final pick in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. He's the same guy. He coached the Indiana Hoosiers. So that'd be great if somehow Lee Corso, if they can bring him back one last time, so that way he can put on the Indiana headgear. That would be epic. Or if he can't show up there, he can, maybe do it from his home. Maybe they'll record a video of him putting on the headgear, and then they can send ESPN the video, and then ESPN will show that video to the entire country. I mean, hey, that'd be good enough, I hope that happens. I mean, wow. What a story if Indiana wins this thing. I will watch that game. You know what? I will record myself watching that game. Live stream it. That's going to be the next KSN live stream. I think the last stream was the Grey Cup. So yeah, it's been about 2 months already. So yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to pick Indiana. So 6:30 kickoff. I should be ready to watch that game by then. All right. Back to the NFL divisional rounds real quick. Let me look at the matchup predictor. So Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos. ESPN had, oh wow, Broncos 51.3%, Bills 48.7%. 49ers, Seahawks. It's gonna be much more for the Seahawks. Yep, almost 60% for the Seahawks. Texans, Patriots. Patriots are the favorite. Wow, 52.1%. Pretty close. Texans, 47.9%. And Rams, Bears. They say the Rams are the favorite. Oh, wow. They had the Rams 61.3%. 38.7% for the Bears. Man, the weather is a giant key factor in that game. Which is why I always kind of find it weird that the NFL playoffs are in the coldest month of the year. But I guess that just shows you that home field really, really matters. Okay, so got some more news here, this time in the MLB. So first, I forgot to talk about this, but Alex Bregman is officially joining the Chicago Cubs. And thanks to you, 5Ter, for telling me this news, because I did not get that notification. I did not get that big breaking news from Jeff Passan. I usually do, but somehow I didn't get it that night. So Alex Bregman signed a 5-year contract. That's crazy. He was only with the Boston Red Sox for 1 season. But I read that he had a opt-out option. This is crazy, man. MLB is such a big business league with this type of money these players are making. Wow. That's huge for the Cubbies. Third baseman. He's, how old is he? 31. He'll turn 32 pretty much a little bit after the 2026 season will begin. And yeah, obviously I remember him from well-known Houston Astros player. I actually have a Alex Bregman jersey when he wore number 2. I don't know if he still wears number 2, because sometimes when you join a different team, you have to change your number. But Alex Bregman, he played with the LSU Tigers before he joined the Houston Astros. So yeah, big time third baseman. And yeah, I apologize for not talking about this in the last episode. I completely forgot. It's because of the NFL games, the wild card games. A lot of those, I should have just wrote that down on my list of things to talk about, but I somehow didn't do that. And what a night. That was the same night, Saturday night, when the Bears pulled off that big comeback against the Green Bay Packers. And they also told me, Five Tear, that the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago Blackhawks were playing that night as well, and they also won. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, what a night. What a freaking night for the Windy City of Chicago sports. Wow. That's amazing. But wait, there's more. There's actually more baseball news, because this news came out not too long ago. And that is Kyle Tucker signs with the LA Dodgers. Wow. Money freaking talks. Kyle freaking Tucker, who was only with the Chicago Cubs for one season, now he's with the LA Dodgers? That's crazy. I'm looking at a 4-year deal. Wow. Oh my gosh. It seems like the LA Dodgers can get almost any player they want. And this is why, if you're not a LA fan, most likely you're not going to like this team. Because because they have so much freaking money. Although they are an entertaining team, they're like an all-star team. All right. The LA Dodgers on a quest to win the World Series 3 years in a row. And if they do that, does that really mean there will be a lockout in 2027? Here's how I found out this news. It was from a YouTuber named Johnny Sports Network. Yeah. He made a short of him talking about this news, and I got the notification. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, I do listen to baseball podcasts. One of them is with, it's called Is This a Great Game or What? With Tim Kirchin along with his son Jeff Kirchin. It's a great podcast. So they'll talk about this news. And, of course, Baseball Tonight with Buster Olney on the ESPN app. Christopher Mad Dog Russo will also talk about this. What I like about his show is it's not always football up the ass. So if there's any big breaking news from other sports leagues, he'll mention that. So that's great. Wow. LA Dodgers. They also got, what's the other guy's name? Diaz, who used to play for the Mets. They got him too. What on earth? I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, don't be surprised if this team wins the World Series again. Although this team could have lost last year's World Series. I still can't believe. Ugh, the Toronto Blue Jays were so close. And before that, the Seattle Mariners were so close to winning the ALCS. Oh my gosh. Wonder how many LA Dodgers players will be in the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani will be back with Team Japan. Freddie Freeman, he was with Team Canada in 2023. I wonder if he'll be with Team Canada again. We'll see. I heard that the USA roster is pretty good. They have Paul Skeens, Aaron Judge, and I think Scooble is also, I think he's also with the Team USA. So we might have Team USA, Team Japan, WBC final rematch from 2023. I think those are the top two countries with their roster. We'll see. I think I am still going to a game. I'll have to confirm with my father. And if I'm really going for real, then I'll let you know for real. All right? But wow. LA Dodgers. I mean, what the heck? This team's an all-star. Look at their lineup now. Look at their roster. See, that's why I don't really like this team now. See, over 10 years ago, I used to like watching this team. The main reason was because of Vin Scully, the greatest baseball announcer of all time. But after he finally retired, I don't really watch LA Dodgers games as much. But now they're the team. All right. So, yeah, that's some big breaking news right there. All right. And the last episode, I started a new part of the episodes. Birthdays. Happy birthday, athletes. Okay, so I found a lot more to mention in this episode. So, first, we're going to do a happy belated birthday first, okay? So, happy belated birthday. All right. And then we'll do today's birthdays, Friday, and then tomorrow's birthdays. All right. So happy early or belated birthday first, Shane McMahon. Okay. So Shane McMahon is the son of Vince McMahon. Okay. So his birthday, January 15th. Okay. Now, Shane McMahon, he's not really an athlete, but he was competing in pro wrestling. So I'm going to read about him on famousbirthdays.com. He's now 56 years old, CEO, businessman, and wrestler who is the son of WWE co-founder Vince McMahon. He won a European championship and a hardcore championship during his wrestling career. Before fame, he worked for his father's wrestling company. After graduating from Greenwich High School in 1987, he attended Boston University, and in 1993, he earned a degree in communications. Trivia, he retired from the WWE after working there for 20 years. Family life, he married Marissa Mazzola in 1996 and has 3 sons, Declan, James, Rogan, and Kenyon Jesse. Associated with, his sister is Stephanie McMahon, and he is the brother-in-law of star wrestler Triple H. Yeah, Shane McMahon, who is no longer with the WWE along with his father. When I first started watching the WWE in 2017, at the time he was the SmackDown Live's commissioner. Yeah. And I remember the first pay-per-view that I watched live was SummerSlam of 2017, where he was a special guest referee. As a matter of fact, I have an action figure of him. Let me get that and show you right now. So here it is. If you're watching the video, here is his action figure. This is Shane McMahon. It's funny because look, he's dressed up as a referee, but it's like a baseball attire. It's got the buttons on it. Shane O'Mac. And on the back, the money, and then look, SummerSlam. Yep, this is what he wore 2017 SummerSlam. Man, that's crazy. It's over 8 years ago. He officiated a match between Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. That match is probably on YouTube. So if you want to watch that match, go ahead and look that up on YouTube. There's a bunch of full matches on YouTube that you can find now. But speaking of Kevin Owens, I also have an action figure of him. This is what he looks like. KO, his initials. And I believe he's still with the WWE, but he is injured, unfortunately. So he's been out of action for like the past year. I forgot what kind of injury he had. But after SummerSlam 2017, these two had a rivalry. And it got kind of crazy. Also, another match you guys should check out is Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens, Hell in a Cell 2017. That was a great match. I'm not going to spoil it because I recommend you guys checking that match out. It is crazy. And yeah, I actually watched that. I watched that match live. All right. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. New part of the episodes to make it more entertaining. Happy birthday to these athletes. Last episode, I only did one birthday, and that was Connor McDavid. Wow. I mean, he's probably one of the greatest athletes today. So that's awesome. All right, another birthday that we have from yesterday is also with the WWE, or used to be with the WWE, and that is Kelly Kelly. So I'm going to read her little bio. 39 years old. Her real name is Barbara Jean Blank. Kelly Kelly is her wrestling name. And known professionally as Barbie Blank, she rose to fame as an ECW exhibitionist and won the WWE Divas Championship in June 2011. In 2015, she became a cast member on the reality TV series Wags. Before fame, she practiced gymnastics for 10 years. Before an injury forced her to quit, she studied broadcast journalism in hopes of becoming an anchor. Trivia: in an August 6th episode of Monday Night Raw, I don't know what year, they didn't mention what year, she defeated Eve Gracie in a singles match. She's also performed in Northeast Wrestling. Family life: she is the daughter of a Jewish father and a Christian mother and grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. She dated wrestler Andrew Martin for 2 years before his death in 2009. She married former NHL player Sheldon Surrey in 2016, but they split the following year in October 2017. In April 2021, she got married to Joe Koba. Associated with her favorite wrestler growing up was Stone Cold Steve Austin. But yeah, a lot of times I watch old pro wrestling for fun, and that's how I got to watch her. She was mainly in the late 2000s and early 2010s. And yeah, she became one of the biggest female stars at the time. And I remember when I used to watch, I guess, the previous era of WWE, back when they had Vince McMahon. Remember the Royal Rumble, which that is coming up, by the way. I'll talk more about that. Sometimes she made a surprise return in the women's Royal Rumble match. So that's always cool. The thing about today's pro wrestling is they have an amazing female roster compared to the old days. And the last happy belated birthday is Drew Brees, now 47 years old, the greatest Saints quarterback of all time. All right. Oh, born in Dallas, Texas. All right. Star NFL quarterback who led the New Orleans Saints to victory in Super Bowl 47. No, it's 45, I believe. No, 44, excuse me. XLIV, that's the Roman numerals of 44. He spent the first 5 years of his NFL career with the San Diego Chargers before signing with the Saints in 2006, which is the Saints' first season after Hurricane Katrina. In 2018, he broke the NFL's record for the most career passing yards, and the following year, he broke the record for the most career regular season passing touchdowns. I do remember that. Before fame, he led his Austin Westlake High School football team to a 16-0 record and a Texas State championship season in 1996. He played college football at Purdue University. And I think a lot of people forget that he did play at Purdue. Purdue's not really a great football program, especially this season. Trivia: in 2010, Sports Illustrated gave him the Sportsman of the Year award for helping New Orleans Saints rebuild in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Family life: he married his Purdue sweetheart Brittany Dachenko in February 2003. He and Brittany have 3 sons, Bowen, Kalen, and Balin, and a daughter named Rylan. Associated with President Barack Obama, named him the co-chair of the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition in 2010. I did not know about that, actually. But yeah, isn't that interesting? He played for Purdue, but he grew up in Dallas, Texas. Went to Austin High School. Then he went to Purdue? That's nowhere near Texas. But then he started off his career with the San Diego Chargers. Back then they were called the San Diego Chargers. And you know what? I heard that I think Drew Brees was going to sign with the Miami Dolphins in the mid-2000s because you know who was the coach for the Dolphins back then? Nick Saban. Nick Saban was the Dolphins head coach in 2005 and 6. And he wanted to get Drew Brees, and it came down to the Saints and the Dolphins for Brees. And Brees picked the Saints. Or I guess the Saints picked him. And I guess Saban got disappointed. And the Dolphins were not that great in 2006. And Saban resigned as the Dolphins head coach after the 2006 season. And then he became the Alabama head coach. And the rest is history. So yeah, Drew Brees is obviously the greatest Saints quarterback of all time. And he's actually one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks of all time. He really could have gone to 2 more Super Bowls. Yeah, especially one. That was when they got screwed in the NFC Championship game almost 7 years ago against the LA Rams. That's the main reason why I don't like the LA Rams, even though it's a different roster back then. Okay, today's birthdays. Now we're going to talk about today's birthdays, all right? So, today's birthdays, I found 2, and those athletes are Joe Flacco and Albert Pujols. Yep. I remember watching those players. Yep. So let's start off with Joe Flacco, who turned, 41? And he was playing. He was playing in the NFL this season. Okay. So, all right. Quarterback who was named the MVP of Super Bowl 47. That was the first Super Bowl I watched. After leading the Baltimore Ravens to a 31-31 victory over the San Francisco 49ers. That is still the best Super Bowl I watched live. The first Super Bowl I watched live is still the best one I watched live, because I didn't really watch many Super Bowls live, because I went on like 6 years in a row without watching it, because I got sick of it, but now I'm back into it. Before fame, he had a dominant run at the University of Delaware, throwing for 42 touchdowns and only one interception in 2007. He spent his first 2 years of college at the University of Pittsburgh. Trivia: he became the first rookie quarterback to win 2 playoff games and the first quarterback to surpass a passer rating of 104. Whoa. Let me say that again. 104, not the number 104, okay? A passer rating of 104 consecutive postseason games. There we go. Family life: he married Dana Grady in 2011, and he has 2 sons named Steven and Daniel. Associated with Ray Lewis, anchored Baltimore's defense in Super Bowl 47, while Flacco led the offense. Wow. Yep. That was back when the Ravens, that year when they won that Super Bowl, I think they won, they won 2 playoff games on the road. The divisional game, they beat Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos on the road. That game went to double overtime. I remember watching that game. Had the great Greg Gumbel on the call. I remember Greg Gumbel was the announcer for that game. And then the Ravens, they beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in Foxborough by 2 touchdowns. And I'm like, okay, this team's on a mission to win the Super Bowl, and they did. However, that Super Bowl, the first half, Ravens were up, I think it was 28-6 or 21-6, and then they scored a touchdown on the opening second half kickoff, and then the power outage happened in the Superdome in New Orleans, and somehow the tables have turned. 49ers were really close to coming back. It turned out to be a close game. So, yeah. And that was the Super Bowl. John Harbaugh faced his brother Jim Harbaugh, the Harbaugh Bowl. That was really exciting. So, yeah. And Flacco was like the greatest Ravens quarterback until Lamar Jackson took over. I guess, who's better, Flacco in his prime with the Ravens or Lamar Jackson? I mean, Lamar Jackson is he's more athletic, but Flacco I think he had a better passing arm, But Flacco, wasn't he playing with the Cleveland Browns? And then he played for the Cincinnati Bengals. Is he going to play for another season? He's now 41. I don't know. Maybe he should join the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know. Oh my gosh. He's going to join another AFC North team if that really happens. All right. Now Albert Pujols from Dominican Republic. Santo Domingo is birthplace. Star first baseman who led the St. Louis Cardinals to win World Series championships in 2006 and 2011. He was named the National League MVP 3 times and won the NL home run title twice. After 11 years with the Cardinals, he joined the Los Angeles Angels. I really say Anaheim Angels because they're really in Anaheim. In 2012, he debuted with the LA Dodgers in May of 2021. I completely forgot about that. Before fame, he moved from New York City to Independence, Missouri with his grandmother in 1996 after he witnessed a shooting. Wow, never heard of that. Trivia: he was named National League Rookie of the Year in 2001 after hitting 37 home runs, tallying 130 RBIs and batting .329. Family life: he was married to Deidre Corona from 2000 until 2022. Jeez. They got divorced after 22 years? Then it says in 2023 he married Nicole Fernandez. He has 2 sons, Albert Jr. and Ezra. His daughters, Isabella, Sophia, and Esther. Associated with, he and Barry Bonds were two of the MLB's most dangerous hitters in the early 20th century. But Pujols was never the subject of serious performance-enhancing drug allegations. Yeah, Barry Bonds was on steroids, basically, and Albert Pujols wasn't. As a matter of fact, I know Albert has hit more than 700 home runs, which is crazy. How many home runs did he hit? I have to look that up. Somehow Famous Birthdays did not mention that. Albert Pujols finished his legendary MLB career with 703 home runs, making him 4th all-time, joining an exclusive club with Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, and Babe Ruth, according to AI overview on Google. Wow. And I remember when he hit home run number 700, they were in Dodger Stadium, and their fans were cheering. Even Dodgers fans were cheering for Pujols. The only downside was that the game was on Apple TV Plus, so we couldn't hear the St. Louis Cardinals TV broadcast, sadly. Because I believe that was the year. Was that the year Chip Carey joined the St. Louis Cardinals TV broadcast after all those years with the Atlanta Braves? Oh. Because when did that happen? That was in 2023, right? Was 2023, that was Pujols' last season? Let's see. No, it was 2022, excuse me. Okay, so never mind. I think Chip Carey joined the Cardinals in 2023. Let me look that up right now to see if I'm right. And the answer is... Wait. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Yep. Chip Carey, he did join the St. Louis Cardinals TV broadcast in 2023, the season after Albert Pujols retired. And I remember Albert Pujols, St. Louis Cardinals, that were in the playoffs, the wild card series against the Philadelphia Phillies. And I remember Michael Kay and Alex Rodriguez were the announcers for that game. I was watching that series. Yeah, and I was cheering for the St. Louis Cardinals because, Albert Pujols was the old player. It's just like when I did with Aaron Rodgers in the NFL wild card. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, I heard that Albert Pujols is now a baseball manager. Is he? He is. He is the current manager of the, I can't pronounce this because he's a manager of a team in Dominican Republic. Yeah, Dominican Republic, it's such a tiny country, but they have their own baseball league. That just shows you how many players are from Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Caribbeans. It's crazy. It really is crazy. We're going to see how Team Dominican Republic is in the World Baseball Classic, because don't count that country team out. And then tomorrow's birthday, or happy early birthday to Kyle Tucker. Wow! He just joined the LA Dodgers. 29 years old. Man. What a birthday for him. And, yeah. All right, guys. So, yeah, how many birthdays did I just talk about? I mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think this is fun. I actually enjoy reading their little bio on famousbirthdays.com. I don't want to read, like, their Wikipedia article. That'll take forever, But, something short and sweet here. Okay. Oh, almost forgot. 5Tayer, you're my biggest subscriber on this channel. I'm going to read your comment, even though I already read your comment in the last episode of KSN, but I'll read it again. After episode 102, you said, and only a couple hours after this episode was released, Mike Tomlin announces he is stepping down as the Steelers head coach. I'm not surprised. Oh, you're not surprised. 0 losing rounds and 0 losing record season sounds impressive on paper. Yes, it does. But it's not a good look when you've lost 7 straight playoff games. That is true. Like I mentioned in episode 100, it really felt like he only focused on having a winning record, and that's it. I say it's about time. Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? That sort of happened to Andy Reid. Yeah, the great Andy Reid. And I don't know if you know this. Andy Reid, before he became the Chiefs head coach, he was actually with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm looking at this real quick. Andy Reid was the Philadelphia Eagles head coach from 1999 to 2012. And he was really good with the Eagles. But he just could not win the big one. He went to a Super Bowl, but they lost to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But he had a lot of winning seasons. 2012 was his last season. They were 4-12. I don't know what happened to the Eagles that year because I wasn't really watching sports at the time. Then 2013, joined the Kansas City Chiefs, and they went years, where they just could not win the big one, and then they finally won the Super Bowl in 2019. Well, February of 2020. Okay. It's funny because a lot of people were rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl. And then years later, they became a hated team. A lot of people got chiefed out. I never got chiefed out. I did not mind if the Chiefs were to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls because that's never happened before. But now Chiefs are Andy Reid and the Chiefs 6-11. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. So, yeah. Wow, he was with the Eagles for 14 seasons. And now he's going to be with the Chiefs for 14 seasons if he comes back in 2026 season, which most likely he will. How old is Andy Reid? Andy Reid is... he is 6'7", 67. He'll be 68 entering the 2026 season. I don't think the Chiefs are going to get rid of him. I mean, come on, you went to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. You went to... Holy crap. Him and the Chiefs, they went to 5 out of the last 6 Super Bowls. That's impressive. That's impressive. I think he's safe. I think Andy Reid, he's going to be... I think he's safe until he decides to quit. So, yeah. All right, guys. I know this was a longer episode because there was more to talk about, so thank you for listening. And I'll be back on Tuesday to recap the NFL Divisional Round games as well as the CFP National Championship game. So I'll see you on Monday night for the live stream of me watching the College Football Playoff National Championship. See you then. This has been KSN.